Worked hard on that. They're not too far off. Not too bad. Let me turn the EAD down before I bother my neighbors to death. Oh, I wanted to show everybody too. I found this kit. I told Brian about it, but I don't know if I explain it to everyone because I don't know what happened to this cymbal. Obviously, it's been around the block, but it's an original K China boy. So I imagine a crack or a fissure or something happened, but they didn't drill holes in it, and there's no soldering marks anywhere. And there's no fissures or cracks in it, so it literally looks like someone, like, if there was a crack in it, they took like a hole punch of some time, a machine punch, and just literally punched out the crack. So I don't know if you, but you can see like it's a completely solid, and you know, because this is usually the point where they will crack is at the flange, but. In any case, it's a China, and I got it just for the sound, and I paid very little money for it. Well, considering I guess what it is, at 50 bucks, maybe that is a lot of money for what it is. But it's cool for the sound. It's an original K China boy. I believe it's a 16. It might be an 18. Let's see. This is an 18. Yeah, a 16. So it's a 16. But I mean, you can't even you can't hear any crack. You can't hear, you know. Usually you'll hear the bronze rubbing against itself. And you know, Russell, man, he was telling me a story because he had a K Constantinople, those like $850, $900, like super nice ride cymbals, really nice. And he let someone borrow his cymbals. One of this local famous cat, I forget who he is. But he left his cymbal bag somewhere, and so he called Russell to see if he could use some cymbals. And so Russell gave him some of his best cymbals to use for that gig, and the guy was bashing on his super nice $900 ride cymbal and put a crack in it, and right around the bell. So, and that's like, if that happens, I mean, it's a lot of times the cymbal smiths won't even try to repair it. Because it depends on where the crack or fissure happens too. Because like no matter what, you know, if it's near the bell, some of those vibrations in the way you hit, you know, it'll just continue to crack. So, you know, you can drill holes in it to prevent it from cracking more, do different things like that. But whoever had this cymbal, they just straight punched a section out of the cymbal, and because I can see it looks like it was like burnt, like, you know, I don't know if you can see that, but like almost like it was burnt off and cut with like a hot knife or something, right where the crack was. I don't know. I haven't seen a repair done like that before, so I'm not quite sure, and I don't know the history behind it. And it's an original kit. I mean, it's been around, you can tell, but it's meant to sound like a trash crash. You know, it's a China. I'm not a basher. I'm not a, like, you know, big quarter note guy. Just like, you know, I'm not really that type of dude. I mean, yeah, I was for a long time, and I can be if necessary. But I don't, you know, bash on Chinas a whole lot. But I wanted to add it just for more of an effect cymbal kind of thing. Because I do like stacks, and I do like creating. I don't have a whole lot of money, so I get most of my stuff used just based on sound and what I like and what will pair well. So I mean, like, if you listen to this 18-inch fast crash with the China, they're right in timbre with one another. So, and I could hear that in the store. I was like, that's very close. That's just basically like, you know, an octave down from my 18, but a trash crash sounding. So I didn't care about the stamp taken out of it, because I could tell it was done well. There's no other fissures or cracks in it, and I'm playing on the opposite side of where the crack is. And like I said, I'm not a basher, so. It sounds pretty good in context, you know? The splash and the 18. My other crash too, I have a S series. It's like a B8. Oh, it's right here. I was like looking around for it. So these are actually, this was, you know, because they're not too expensive, but I got a cymbal pack like way back when I first started, and it's an 18 medium thin S, and these are like a B12. So they've got a cool, you know. They're really bright, but I mean, their decay is very long. Like, there's quite a bit of wash and a lot of overtones to them. So, you know, I don't use them a whole lot, but you know, they sound good paired with one another. So anyway, I'm just having some fun with the China. But I think it's cool as an effect cymbal. And I just wanted to show everyone, I guess. So, it's pretty cool. So, just in context, you can hear it. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I'm just freestyling and goofing around, but I was trying to give a sense of, you know, what all the cymbals sound like together. I love these hats, too, because I paired a Peisty dark crisp bottom with a K custom dark top. So, because this is by far the heaviest bottom plate that I have. So this is what it's a signature dark crisps, and these are really, really good hats actually. And I like the top hat for it too, but it's really bright and quite loud, and it cuts, and it's great for like certain genres of music, you know. But just for like an overall sound that kind of goes with any groove music or whatever, this has a little bit better, darker musical tone. The K-top is what I mean. And it has a cool bell too. I love the bell on this. I keep messing up on my pattern on my bass drum. Sorry about that. Try to play the double paradiddle thing in 6 kind of thing. So the hat sounds pretty cool. Then we got the Peisty 20. Got this used for $200. Love this ride. Great for recording. Nice and bright. Not too crazy overtones. Has a good timbre to it that keeps its note. You know, now this cymbal's great too. This Meinl. This is a Meinl tradition jazz Byzance tradition 22, Turkish hand lathe, hand hammered, hand lathed, and it's got a like traditional bottom. It's not a brilliant finish on the bottom, but it's 2,660 grams. So got this cymbal for a pretty good discount as well, but I did get it new. But my point being that this can have quite a bit of overtones, but it's crashable. So I like it for that sense, and kind of more for like rock context. Even though it's like it's supposed to be for jazz, and it's got a great. But you can hear like the wash and the overtones get pretty crazy with it. So you know, for jazz players, like that would drive some jazz players crazy. They'd be like, way too many overtones. You know, you just throw some clear moon gel though, or some tape instead of tape. I don't like usually sticking tape on there because the adhesive part, in case you want to take it off to get it back to the original character of the cymbal. Then you've got that residue on there. A lot of times, like unless you use gaff tape or like, you know, something that'll peel off easy. But like if you use duct tape or something and you put that on there and you try to take it off, a lot of times you'll have that, you know, you'll have the ducts you left on your cymbal there. So. Also have my Zildjian Original A 10-inch splash. This is a cool splash too. This is like the one cymbal I had all original A's that I traded in at Drum Flip to get this Mapex kit as part of that Pearl Masters I had, and I was planning on getting all different cymbals anyway, but I didn't have any splashes and I didn't have any. And, you know, this is actually a very expensive splash for what it is, but it's a cool splash. I like creating different stacks, like I was saying, like out of the S with like another cymbal. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll put moon gel between the two cymbals, and then I'll use a Vader cap. If people don't know what, like Vader Stick Company, they make these black round caps that just have a quick release button. So instead of having to screw on, a wing nut, it's just a cap that, whoop, when you push the button, and it goes down across the threads. But with those, you can sandwich stacks together on a normal mount. So, because a lot of people like buy specific mounts for their stack, which is cool too, because you might need some stack mounts. But just in case like you're on a limited budget like me and you don't have a lot of money for expensive stacks, that stuff, you want to make your own, just put some moon gel in between some cymbals, or don't, just have them on each other. But beware that if you do that, that it will tarnish the bottom cymbal a lot of the times, or at the very least wear off, like the logo or any printing on it. So like if you want to keep your cymbals looking nice and you care about them, then I wouldn't suggest doing that. But like basically what I mean is like, see how you can kind of see how this part of this cymbal is more brilliant than the outside, and that's not just from grabbing it, but that's because I had a smaller cymbal on top of it, and then it kind of created a line around, around that point. And then on another cymbal I have, like it totally put, wore off basically where this K would be, like, took off half of the logo. So just beware of that, because if you're not putting any moon gel in between and it's metal on metal, then that can happen. But it sounds cool, and if you have cymbals that are like B8s or B12s, like I do, like the S series that you don't really care a whole lot about, but you like the sound and you want to get a different sound, then use those and just create stacks out of them. So that's cool to do too, but that's my splash. I was just creating a rhythm with it because it just, I don't know, it's what I do. It's what I do. Okay, so then got the 18. Everyone's here. I love it. This is a K18 Fast Crash. Basically, Dennis Chambers loves this cymbal. He always plays with this crash cymbal. Found this used for like $150 or something. In really good shape too. In really good shape. It's a cool cymbal too. And then just compared with the China. Alright, so anyway, kind of a little cymbal review there, I guess. But that's kind of my cymbal setup. I realized I didn't play the Pisces. And the bell of the Pisces raw bell too. So that's cool. I like the raw bell of it. So you can hear it's got a cool different timbre depending on if you hit it right on the top of the bell or on the side of it. Cool. But yeah, it's got a great stick definition, great ping. It's got a cool one too, and it's a little bit more of a gong sound, not as crashable, but it's still crashable. So that's what the crashing sounds like on. So this is a 20-inch, 22 tradition, and then I have my Supernaturals, which that's a really cool ride that Russell gave to me. So I'll throw that up really quick. I'll throw that up really quick because I know I'm just going to make this video longer like I always do. I'm terrible about that, but I want to show you what this sounds like. Because this Supernatural, this is cool. And this Supernatural's been around the block, man. Russell's sponsored by Supernaturals, and I actually, come to find out, the cymbal smith called him to see if he would start demoing his cymbals again. He's like, what, aren't you out of business? Because Supernaturals went out of business. And it was funny. The guy's like, I am Supernaturals. What do you mean I'm out of business? He's like a funny guy. So he flies to Turkey once a year and gets the plate, you know, does all the get foundry stuff, gets his plates, and then flies back. Just realizing that with this... way that because this is a bigger, heavier ride, so the way it sits is a little bit goofy. So I just want to make sure I'm not hitting any microphones. Okay. So hear how jazzy that is? It's like the Peisty. Sorry, I always do that. But the bell's really cool. Big, oversized, raw bell, which is cool too, because this is lathed in stages too, where it uses different, a little bit different founding process and different alloys as it goes through. But yeah, raw oversized bell with lots of hand hammering marks. I'm not sure if it says the weight on this one. No, it just says 22-inch ride. But it is it's a Supernaturals Divine from the Divine series. So it's their 22s, and they have a cool logo too. Look at that, Supernaturals Divine. But see how the bell is raw like that. So this is the ride cymbal I played with just forever with everything, because I felt so appreciative of Russell to be able to get this cymbal, and it was my first like custom Turkish, really expensive, hand-laid, like painstakingly made Turkish cymbal kind of thing. And then the backstory behind it, plus the way he got it, and the fact that he was nice enough to give it to me. So anyway, I played with it for a long time, and I still do. I just did a project where I was recording with this cymbal and the Peisty rather than the tradition. So it just depends on context too. So this one really sounds like a gong when you crash it. Big gong sound to it. I started to play a bossa there, so I get carried away. But yeah, so putting the UVs on and then getting this china and just trying to get my sound together, you know, and having fun doing it. So that's what it's all about. But I'm loving I just put a G1 on this on my pork pie 13x7, Love this drum. Such a great drum. And Eric of Drum Addict has one too. He has his more like rock tuning though. You know, he has some moon gel on it, and a ambassador with it. But you know, he's just playing with that until those wear out, because that's, you know, that's what I did too. Is I just, you know, used the standard snares on it and the ambassador till I just kind of got a sense of what the drum was like, and then started using different heads with it. So what I did was put a 30 strand on the bottom. So there's a 30 strand on a 13-inch drum, but I think it sounds, it's got a really good sensitivity. And the rim shots are ear splitting on this thing. I'm sure everyone in the world right now is like, shut up, Blake, come on, man. It's 9 o'clock at night, so I should probably be quiet now. Alright guys, well this is a long video and lots of mistakes and random playing and going through it, but I just kind of wanted to show my setup and kind of give you an idea of the different way I go about my cymbals, because, you know, I played with like all matched sets for a long time, all one brand, like, you know, I did that whole thing for quite a while, and, you know, mostly A's and K's, but then once I kind of started getting into like darker sounds and more Turkish rather than European, I kind of changed my ear a little bit. But then, once I just started getting the studio going and needing for different contexts, then I, you know, wanted some stuff that was bright, you know, and was more for the recording aspect. And then, you know, heavier, bigger stuff usually is what I play with live. So, you know, darker and larger cymbals, and heavier cymbals when I'm playing live. Unless I need it to like really cut, you know, and there's rocking going, then yeah, I'll bring bright cymbals and bright crashes. But you know, if it's groove tunes and you know, I'm mostly just keeping time and you know, just using one crash and a ride in my hats, then, you know, then I'm just using what sounds best within the mix, you know. And usually when I'm playing in that context too, there's like 10 musicians on stage, you know, like two to three guitar players, percussionist, maybe even 2 percussionists, a singer, keyboard player, sax, bass. What else was there last night? Keys, sax, bass, guitars, drums, 2 percussionists, singer, oh, harmonica. But one dude is like a jack of all trades, where he plays horns and harmonica and keys and sings. And then there's a singing drummer there too. He was cool. So yeah, that was fun. It was kind of cool. But you know, just kind of saying, depending on the context, that's how I shop for my stuff and what my ear has kind of, I don't know, evolved to like. But I'm definitely a fan of Turkish sound over really bright sounds, because I find that sometimes those even well-made bright cymbals, if you hit them hard enough or you hit them in the right spot, they have really, really harsh high frequencies, like bing, like where it hurts your ear. If you listen back in the mix, I'm sure people know what I'm talking about with certain cymbals, and that can even happen with these bells and stuff, you know, like even this B20. This is B20, that's why they call it the Pice D20, and it's not like their secret formula thing, you know, that's how they discontinued making these. They don't make them anymore. But even these bells can be like, you know, you hit them hard enough, you get enough wash going, that kind of thing. So what my point being is just, you know, just with your strokes and all that kind of stuff, controlling your dynamics as my ears evolved. If it's for recording, if it's for jamming, if it's playing live, you know, then that's why I shop and I have all mix-match cymbals. So a lot of times people are like, come on, man, why don't you just have all Ks, or why don't you have all As, or all Pisces, or whatever. And it's like, well, I go by what my ear is matching, and a lot of times what I'm lacking within my sound profile. So if I need something that's bright, I'll go, and then I'll already know what the timbre of my current cymbals sound like. So when I go to the shop and I'm hitting on cymbals, or I'll even take short little recording cuts of that, so I can just kind of quickly remind my brain and ear what they sound like. And then I don't care what brand it is. I don't, you know, I'll be looking for a certain dimension, usually a certain alloy of a certain dimension, and either a bright or a dark sound, right? So I'll go through and I'll just hit everything I can find, and for within my price range, and then I will choose, no matter what the brand is, or what, you know, if it's a Pisces 20, if it's the Tradition, if it's a K Fast Crash, if it's a Pisces Dark Crisp, you know, for whatever I need it for is basically what I get it, and then I just match the timbre of it, and that's why I don't play with match cymbals. Alright, guys? And I've had full cymbal packs before, too, and they're just, you know, they're pricey for good ones, and then you're stuck with exactly those rather than matching more of like, I want this one with this one with this one with this, you know. So, you know, I've had some cool packs. I've bought some cool packs for students. Some of my students have even better cymbals than I do. So I've gotten to play on and hear a bunch. I used to own some Pisces 2002s that I stupidly got rid of when I was younger. Really nice ride. I love those Pisces 2002 rides. There's 605s and their 2002s. Like, I'm not going to knock Pisces by any means because I love some of their stuff. I really do. I'm just more of a fan of the Turkish sound. So, you know, and plus the techniques and the founding and the way that the Turkish cymbals are made are a lot different than European cymbals. So, you know, the foundries, the techniques, the craft of, you know, how it's been passed down through generations, the cymbal smiths, the plates, the alloys, the starting, you know, raw materials, all those things are different, but depending on region, and then also depending on techniques used of hammering and lathing and all that. So, alright, well, really long video and too much talking at the end, but there's my cymbal setup, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Love you. Happy drumming. I gotta stop playing because it's now past 9 o'clock here, and I'm sure I'm driving the neighborhood crazy. Good night, everyone.